all of the stress, the pain, and the grief of moving yourself from a community that is male focused, based on love and protection, only to jump to another community where those same males are still your focus. But the love that you have has now become contempt on this side. And the focus is not on you. It's not about you doing you. It's about what the fuck black men did today to feed the anger, the frustration, the hurt, and the rejection that we all feel when we realize the sky is blue and grass is green and water is wet. But to stay there and to make that who you are, and when the need is that you want to agitate the men that you say you want to get away from by doing things like, oh, I don't know, wearing a Confederate battle flag COVID mask over your face, is kind of doing that. It's really not giving that you're doing you, that you're living for yourself. It's really not giving that you don't care anymore. It's giving that you care a lot. So when I've been saying and talking about transcendence, I'm talking about going through the phase of the anger that we all go through. I understand it. I have been there. I understand what it means to not be the preference. I understand what it means to not feel celebrated. I understand what it means to just be tolerated, but have all of these expectations on you. I get it. And you have every right to be angry. You have every right to feel rejected. You have every right to feel a loss. And so feel the feels. But here's where transcendence comes in. Transcendence comes in when you're going through that phase. You go through it and you get over it. And then you thrive. To transcend is to get through that phase of hatred, of reminding yourself of why you've made the decisions that you've made. Because maybe you're in this loop of needing to let the community that you left know that you're gone because you want them to mourn you. You want them to grieve you. You want them to feel some of the pain that you felt. But that's not caring. That's caring a lot.
Okay. I really want to give space for everybody to move and navigate at their own speed and on their own timing, because at the end of the day, life is a solitary journey. Even though we strive to share our journey with like-minded individuals, commiserate on our pain, and extend compassion for one another. However, there is an impulse within me that questions the level of dumb is this woman? How dumb is this woman? Or how disingenuous is she now? How dumb or how disingenuous? Because I have a very difficult time accepting that she and her ilk, who hung upon every word I ever said, how did they manage to miss this point that I emphatically made to the point of being accused of being obsessed with the girl who swirls? Did I or did I not make these points over and over and over and over again? So I just have a hard time believing that somebody who is as polished and educated and successful as Ms. Karazin could possibly have missed the points that I was making all those years ago. And I have an equally as difficult a time believing that anybody who continues to follow her to this day did not understand the point that I was making at the time. I understand that my delivery might not have been what you wanted, everything that I was supposed to have done gave at the time, but did I or did I not speak the truth? You're not divested. In fact, you are heavily invested when all you do is sit around and talk about black men all day, all night, on live streams every week for years at a time. And you talk about dating outside, but you know, honey, it's only 24 hours in a day. You should get 8 hours of sleep, especially if you're single, unmarried, and carefree and childless. You should be getting 8 hours of sleep. You got to work 8 hours a day. So you're spending 5 hours on live streams talking about black men. So I'm kind of not believing that you're dating white men. I just kind of not really believe in that, sis. I kind of think you're all full of shit and you actually secretly really, 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 really love black men and you really want a big black dick in your mouth. I'm kind of feeling that way. But you just don't like what black men do. So why don't you just admit that shit? Stop pretending that you want to get with Brad, which is extremely objectifying and personally I found offensive. But y'all weren't offensive. Could you imagine if you went to a white man's channel and he was telling all of his bros how to nab a Lakeisha? I bet you bitches would have liked that shit. I would not have. But you know, we'll just pretend that I didn't say all these things for at least like 2 years straight. That you women really weren't swirling, that you really weren't divested, that you spent all your time talking and thinking about black men, that black men lived rent-free in your brain. Yeah, we'll just pretend that I wasn't saying that this entire time. And that some of you were just so thirsty to swirl that you were getting with covert bigots. Are we going to pretend that I didn't say that? Are we going to pretend that I didn't literally have a video with the thumbnail of a black woman in bed with a white man that was reading about the Confederacy? Because I do still actually have those videos. I can put them back up and I can actually display who this person really was. I know that she wants to revamp something, and God love you, honey. I mean, maybe you have transcended, okay? I'm working on ascension. I'm failing miserably ever since Kevin Samuels died. I'm really fucking up hanging out down here. I can feel myself descending. I literally can feel it right now. But as I strive to ascend, perhaps your girl who swirls is working hard to transcend, and I love it. I want to see it. I want to see you do what you want. That's what I want to see. And you know what? I just thought of this. It's like a recipe. If you mix part swirling, part divestment, part transcendence, what do you get? I think you might actually begin to start doing what you want. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I will say this. With all the ego coursing through my veins, it feels damn good to know that I'm ahead of my time. It feels damn good to know that I'm ahead of the curve. It feels good. Welcome, bitches!